Hey everybody, this is Annie Noodle and Tiny, and we are here to introduce you to this video in which we do cool art stuff. So let's go do art stuff. Okay. So, my friend Miranda, whom you all know from Wakley Creek Art, sent me this really awesome sketchbook to do this little collaboration, and yeah, it's an awesome sketchbook and I'm really excited for you to see it. I am also recording this at 10:30 at night. My cats are all going crazy because I haven't fed them, but Miranda I promised Miranda I'd get this video out tomorrow so that we could send them both out at the same time, as makes sense because she's doing her own first. I think we started out as first 5 pages of the sketchbook, and I don't know if I stuck to that. It's 5-ish pages. I love you, Miranda. Sorry, I'm a hot mess. But I decided to, because this is a very interesting sketchbook, I decided to let myself be as experimental as possible in it. So one of the things I did was try to use a lot of materials that I haven't used before. Like, I've used this type of paint, but I have not used my Art Nouveau Gansai Tambi set yet. And I was like, well, I should clearly use that. And I have used Pentel pocket brushes, are one of my favorite pens. But this one is sepia, and I saw it and I was like, well, I need to try to definitely use that. Yeah. And it's a really great pen. I never regret buying and using Pentel pocket brushes. So like, they come with these little cartridges that you put in them, and you just go boop, and then the ink eventually, after much waiting, fills this little brush nib up, and then you can actually use it like a brush pen. I don't even know. I think it took me like a half an hour to get this stupid thing to work this time. I don't remember it being that bad. But for those of you who wanted to know, I thought I would do a little swatch here. This is the brown I am using. And then in a second, I'll switch over to the black that I usually use, and you can kind of see the difference. And it's very subtle. But if you were wanting that subtle difference, here it is. Anyways, so I hope you guys are all doing really well. And like I said, it is 10:30 at night. I'm going to be a little bit all over the place. Okay, so look, you can see a difference. The brown is definitely warmer than the black, but it is subtle. It is subtle. Yeah, so 10:30 at night, I'm going to be all over the place. But hey, I'm here. I'm showing up. I'm definitely doing this at the last possible second. I have been working on some really cool stuff, though, that I am so excited to show you guys. I've been recording it all so that I can show you guys. So the reference picture that I am working from for this, and in case you didn't know, when I start a new sketchbook, like this is a new sketchbook, I like the first page to be a path or a door or a window. I just want it to be like, oh, at the beginning of my adventure of this sketchbook, this is like an entrance. So this particular doorway, I took this picture. We were in Italy. I don't remember which town we were in. Me and my friend were in Italy, and this was like the balcony in our Airbnb, and it was so pretty. And I gotta be real with you guys, if it was not late at night and I wasn't full of pizza and very much ready to go to bed and my cats were stomping all over the place and screaming at me, I would dig up the picture and show you. Maybe I'll post it in my community tab later when I am more awake and I'm willing to dig through the like 8,000 pictures that I took on that trip to find this one to show you. Anyways, so it was a very light focused picture. So like I really wanted to keep this very light and airy feeling. And then also I was testing these sketchbook pages because I had no idea what to expect of them. And it turns out that watercolor is not great on these, in my opinion. And you will see why in a little bit. But, and then I got this on clearance. It's like a rose gold, stinky paint pen. The kind that you have to rattle first before you can use it. And my mom, every time I use one of these, my mom used to bring these home. She worked in like a factory, and she would bring these home, these like big chonkin ones. And they just were so stinky. I loved them so much. And like my mom had to keep telling me that I should not sniff the paint pen. Like it's not good for you. Like, oh, okay. But it smells good. Anyways, so also I totally thought that I had drawn a butterfly there. And I was like, oh, that's so cute. I put butterflies there. No, it's a flower, Annie. Yeah. And then I went through and put little dots with the paint pen just to kind of tie it all together. I don't know. It was really fun. Next page is a burb. Look at that burb sitting there judging you. Judging. What a judging judger. Yeah, this is going to be a quality video, guys. And I think this is my Mission Gold paints now. I think I only used the Art Nouveau set on that first page, I think. Yeah. Also, if you hear my cats in the background, I am very sorry. They're really chatty right now. So, like I said, I'm not really happy with how watercolor works on these paper pages. It's almost like they don't have sizing in them. But I will say that because of that, like this branch looks so cool. I love how this branch turned out, and all I did was paint onto it, and it like soaked into the paper in a weird way, and I think it looks so pretty. So yeah, and here's me forgetting that that's supposed to be a bird foot there, and then just painting a stick there instead. And then later, when I was painting the bird's feet, I was like, I know he had 2 feet. Why can't I find it? Yeah. Oh, what are those red things? Yeah, you'll find out why those red things showed up later. But yeah, in the course of like, between the sketches that I did in the sketchbook and some other sketching I've done lately, I don't know if it's like my eyes are getting old, or like I've just been tired, or like it's something else, but like I'm having a really hard time seeing when I use this red pencil for doing my sketches now. So I think it's time for me to go back to not red pencil for a while. Oh, and so now I'm going over the bird in gouache, and this is later in a different session, so everything is dry. So yeah, going over to bird and gouache. I got this. This is from a reference picture too, but I did not take this one. This is from the free photo references for artists group on Facebook, and I love them, and they're amazing, and I have approximately 5 gajillion references saved from them that I want to quote unquote paint someday. I do use a lot of them though. I'm just like, but they're like, I would have to live to be 5,000 to use all the ones that I have saved. But you get that kind of dopamine rush every time it's like doom scrolling, only not. Like you're just like, oh, I can just add this to my picture hoard and I will paint it later, and it makes you happy. And then you go through them all later and you're like, oh, I love all of these pictures. Yeah. Oh, okay. So here's the next thing I decided to do. So there's this cool like burlap sack page. And this is the first thing I thought of when Miranda sent me this book. Is like I knew exactly what I wanted to do with this page and the next page. And yeah. Well, not exactly. I knew I wanted to, and I'm sorry, I'm sniffly. It's spring again, apparently, and my allergies are, being amazing. Yeah, so I knew I wanted to do some embroidery type stuff on this and then like have it somehow tie into the next page. But I really thought I was going to do more of like a pattern. Like I didn't know that I was going to do something so like illustrative. Yeah, I'm happy with how it turned out, but it was definitely not what I had in my mind right away, but it is similar to what I had in my mind. And I actually really like embroidery. When I first started my Instagram account, which wasn't that long ago, I think it was like 2020, honestly, maybe 2019. I think the first thing I posted was like some embroidery I was working on. And every once in a while I see that picture and I'm like, oh, I really want to finish that because it's really cool. I think it's like an egret flying in front of the sun, but like stylized. So the next thing I did was take these itty bitty scissors and go clippity 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 to pull out some of the threads of the burlap, which was a pain in the butt. I am not gonna lie. But again, I think the effect turned out really cool and I think it was worth it, but it was definitely a pain in the butt. And took way longer than I thought it was going to. See, isn't that kind of neat? I kind of wanted it to have like that feeling of when you see a brightly colored bird in the tree, but you can't really see them because there's so much other stuff. There's branches and leaves and like, you know, obviously there's no leaves in this picture because it's just like one of those kind of late fall, early spring pictures where there's just hard berries and like naked branches. Yeah, but I wanted it to have that kind of feeling of like you were trying to look through and see the bird, but you couldn't quite see it, but you knew it was there and you were kind of trying to sneak around and look at it. Yeah. So anyways, that's what I was going for here. And I do, by the way, at the end of this, like I show you what all of these pages look like. So you just have to stick around to the end, or you could, you know, skip ahead if you wanted to. You could skip ahead and then come back. Like, it's up to you. So then there's this linen page, which is really nice. And I was like, oh, I want to definitely paint on that with oil paint. And so I was putting gesso on there. Oh, look at these little blobbies of paint. So I put gesso on there, thinking I'd oil paint down there, and then I just did not get to it, and it turned into weeks. And like, I don't know if Miranda is going to admit to this, but I will admit to this. We meant to get this video out in January, and now it is March. And that is exactly how my life has been going lately. It's just like, oh, here's where bad things happen to the bird. Wah, wah. Yeah, it's okay. We fixed it. And this is ink that I have never used. Somebody gave it to me for Christmas. Like it came in a set with that fountain pen that I am using with it. So like a few different inks and a couple different fountain pens. And I don't know why, but I thought it came with one of those glass swirly dip pens. Oh, I said fountain pens, didn't I? Well, I meant dip pens. You guys know what I mean. But yeah, in my head, like I keep thinking that I have one of those now and I do not. So that might be on my vacation art shop purchase list for this summer. We'll see. For this page, which is the back of the bird, I just wanted to like blob some cool paint blobs and then like make, you know, fun dragon shapes. And I wasn't necessarily, when I started, I wasn't like, oh, I'm going to make dragon shapes based on the blobbies. I just kind of wanted there to be a pattern there. And I mean, you know, a pattern, not really a pattern, but I wanted there to be blobbies there of color. And then I wanted there to be drawings of dragons. And so that's what I did. And you cannot tell that this ink is supposed to be shiny at all. And all of the inks that I used on this page, I think, were supposed to be shiny, and none of them were. The watercolors are not shiny. They were not supposed to be shiny. They're just there. I will say that I love a lot of these dragons. I really love doodling dragons. Like, especially like the less that I try to care about what they look like when they're finished, like I feel like the happier they make me, because they just look like these big derpy kind of goofy dog dragons. You know, like the best kind of, like when you meet a dog and you're like, oh, that dog shares a single brain cell with like all the other dogs in the world, but he's also the goodest dog. Yeah, like those dogs. And some dogs have all of their own brain cells, so I don't know how that works, but yeah, that dragon is like, you know, investigating that flower. It probably smells good. This little tongue. Oh my gosh. I forgot about the tongue. I also love this guy that I'm drawing right now that is like lounging on his back. I'm blowing a little poof of steam. Oh, cat intermission, where Kitten investigates this bunny in our yard today. It was so nice out that we had the windows open. Like it was really warm out today. Like I think it got to 70 almost. Very warm. And now, having learned my lesson with not using watercolor on these paper pages, I am using gouache. And I actually really like painting on these pages with gouache. Like they're just so, there's something about the consistency of the paper that's so nice to paint on. And so, yeah, I will be using a lot of gouache in this sketchbook. This picture is also from a reference. And it's like two cows. Look, I'm a country girl, and sometimes like you drive by farms and like farms have like houses that have been like abandoned to the cows, and I'm a country girl and I don't get it. Like I'm like, nobody's ever explained to me like at what point you just abandon your house to the cows. But these are two cows chilling, and they've got like a house like with a, yeah. And some of the, I've seen this multiple times where it's not like a barn. It's like it was a house, and then like I guess the people just moved into a different house, and then we're like, I guess the cows can hang out in here too. Anyway, so I've always really loved seeing that. Like I love driving by and there's just like a cow sitting inside a house with the door open, and I'm like, nice, good job, cow. Nice to see you enjoying your retirement years as a cow. I don't know. But anyways, it makes me laugh. So that's what this is a picture of house cows. So it must happen other places, because this is, like I said, not my picture. So it's got to happen to other places than around here, where I have definitely seen it more than once. House cows. And now that I'm looking at it, it really just looks like a person. Oh gosh. I forgot. Excuse me. I forgot how funny Bean Cow looked. It doesn't get a lot better. I am sorry, you guys. Like, I did not finish this to my usual level. So Bean Cow and his friend that looks like it's a person wearing a cow mask. They did not get the love that they probably deserved. But also, this is a sketchbook, and I don't need to spend 10 hours on every page, so, you know. All right, so, like I said, I did not have enough time to oil paint on this page, so instead, I used these oil pastels that I also got from Miranda, because she's awesome. And I don't have oil pastels other than these. Like, I didn't have any, and she was like, oh, yeah, so Miranda's great. Go tell her how awesome she is. And I haven't used oil pastels in like, how old am I? Like 46 now? So 30 years, like literally 30 years, I have not used oil pastels. But I had so much fun with this page. I want to do more oil pastels on like kind of these canvas linen textures, and I think I have some panels around I'm gonna have to play with. And I might have to do some like, I would like to just continue to treat them like sketching instruments. So like I would just kind of do fun sketches on these little panels that I have, and then go over them with like the oil paints that I have, because I've heard that sometimes it's just normal and sometimes they crack and sometimes they do weird things, and I'm like, oh, that sounds really fun. Like I would really love to see what happens if I do oil painting over oil pastels. So yeah, that's on the list of things that I would like to try someday. Anyways, but for now, this page really might be my favorite. I had so much fun doing it. Yeah, and it made a huge mess. I got oil pastel like all over my hands. And okay, so here, I actually had a battle plan going into this, like where I was going to do like, there's going to be some flowers in the foreground. This is from a reference picture of mine. Flowers in the foreground, and then like the background would just be like all kind of dark greeny bluey. And then like as I was going along, I was leaving kind of white gaps around the background and the foreground. And then I kind of made them smaller and smaller. And in some cases, I just like blended them out completely, like especially around these little purple flower blobs. And that was just like part of like the experimental process. Like that is the only reason for that. Like I was just like trying to figure out what I would visually like, and also what I would like doing, you know, like, because if I didn't like blending these out with my hands, I would have been like, well, you know, like not gonna play with these much then. And I know you can blend them out with tools too, but I'm not that girl. I would have the tool in my hand and forget it was there and rub it with my finger and then be like, oh, I did that again. Yeah. In fact, you will see me do something very similar to that with this red flower here, where I start blending things out and then I switch fingers and like end up rubbing bluey greeny stuff all over the flower. Spoilers. I frustrated myself with this flower a lot. Also, I ripped down everything on my desk and cleaned everything and put it back together, and now I have oil pastel all over my desk, and I'm like, really? Really, oil pastels? Must you? And they're like, yeah, we must. I'm looking at this flower now and I love it so much, and in like 5 minutes it's going to be just a hot mess and it's going to make me sad. It was so bright and cheery, and like there's like a spot in here where I was like, yes, if I would have just stopped right there, everything would have been great. And then I didn't stop. I did not stop. It might be right here that I'm like, yes, I could have just stopped and it would have been fine. And I did not stop. Oh, yep, there goes. There. Oh, everything's bad. Oh, no. I'll just make it better with this orange stick. Oh my gosh, you guys, I'm so tired. It doesn't help that stupid daylight savings stuff happened again, and I'm just like, ugh. I am not good at like oh my goodness. What's the word I want here? Re-equalizing. Resetting? Whatever. I'm not good at fixing my sleep schedule. So we're looking at the finished products now. Yeah, I love that page. Of two really goofy looking cows. House cows. You guys, I appreciate that you have stuck around for this whole video, and I would love to know what your favorite part of this sketchbook so far is. And here's how the bird looks. I'm so happy about how these 2 pages turned out together. I think they are so cool. And they don't make it as puffy. I was really worried that it would just like not close at all. And they don't make it as puffy as I thought they would. Yeah, I was going to put beads in there, and then I found those little pom-poms. Yeah. Yep. I also really love the dragon page. Definitely need to do more super fun doodling like that. Yeah. And then here's my oil pastel page. And I love how this page turned out. I really do. There's definitely things I'd change about it, obviously. Like, it's really not balanced at all, but that's okay. And the red flower made a good comeback. And yes, it is completely sticky still. I assume that eventually gets better. Anyways, so Kitten and I appreciate you guys watching this video. And I'm waving a whole bunch. And Kitten is going to come say goodbye. And I'm going to tell you about that dragon someday soon. Okay. See you guys soon. Bye.